Hey guys, so what most people don't know is that prior to getting into knife sharpening for about the last 30 years, my primary profession has been an electronic or electromechanical repairman. Basically, I have taken apart and put back together things for a living for the last 30 years. Computers, copiers, fax machines, telephones, answering machines, you name it, I've probably tore it apart and been able to put it back together. Today I'm going to go ahead and take this new little WEN 6515 and we are going to do a time lapse. I'm going to take it apart and we're going to see if we can attach a little buffing wheel to this end. Thanks for joining me. Roll it.
Oh, shit.
Well, shoot. That's unfortunate. It's one full piece. It's actually part of the back of the motor. So if you wanted to actually do something, you'd either have to do a shaft extender or cut this shroud off. Okay, I'm just going to put it back together real quick. So I put it back together. I'm going to reattach the parts and then we'll look at actually attaching something to the outside of this and see if we can't get it out here a little further. It'll get it further away and get me out and get us some more freedom of room. Plan B, in effect, action. Okay, I got it all back together. The bolt on the end it's a regular thread, but it's metric. And I looked through my loose nuts and bolts. I didn't have too many metric. What I do have is this guy with a sort of a, I don't even know what the heck this was for, some sort of tension thing. But it's the same size. And so this will allow me to at least attempt to do what I want to do for testing. This is a lightweight MDF style honing wheel that I made out of cardboard glued together. And I took 4 or 5 layers of cardboard, glued and pressed them together, cut them out, trued it up, and then I've got compound on it. And the compound actually goes and fits down in the little pukas, or the little holes as we call them. And it hasn't worn out. When I first did this a couple years ago, people laughed and they said that thing's going to completely wear out. Well, this lightweight cardboard honing wheel still hasn't wore out. Of course, I don't use it very much now. What I'm going to attempt to do is take this I know it works. I know it'll hone a wheel. I'm going to put a little spacer piece in between, behind it, put a washer on it, and see if we can't get something that we can test. Okay, depending on what video I clipped out or kept in, you should have seen me take this thing apart, found out that the casing is part of the end of the motor, so you can't really do anything with it. I put a spacer piece in, I attached a piece of cardboard, a cardboard honing wheel that I had previously made to the outside. I then sharpened a carving tool here and used the carving tool to true up the wheel. I've tried a couple different compounds, green and white. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what you throw at it. It all depends about what angle you hold it at. And that's why I haven't used honing wheels so much in the past. I was going to do a video on the buffing wheel and everything you can do with it and include this cardboard wheel I made in that. I probably still will. But at this point, let's focus on this machine here. Put the angle guide on it, and the problem that you have, you know, unfortunately it's not a complete win with this little setup, is the angle guide, which I love to use and use it edge leading. As you come over, you're going to hit this wheel, and that's a major danger situation, so we can't do that. What I did for this today, playing around with this, I just flipped it around and I stuck it up on this board here. This would simulate, you know, a way you could operate the machine. Let's get rid of the angle guide. And let's actually see if we can sharpen something with this thing. Okay. All right. Let me get my safety glasses and I'll be right back. Okay, safety glasses are enabled. Get everything loose. This is a little bit more tricky because you got a wild wheel spinning here. I don't want any cables, so I don't want it to fall over and catch and start running across the table. I think we're set to go. What I'm running on this is an A100 belt, about 200 grit, and it's very smooth running. Hopefully you'll be able to see that on the camera. Doesn't matter if I go on the flatten or on the slack part, just hold the same angle. But you do have to be aware of this wheel, and the wheel's running that way. I think you're far enough away from it that it shouldn't interfere. So I see my burr coming up now. There it goes, running along the whole way. Really, it's up to you at this point. You could try just knocking the burr off. I usually have gotten into the habit of just taking and going into the end grain, trying to pull some of that burr off like that. It's less flopping around material to try and have to remove. And then we'll go ahead and I'm going to apply right to the top dead center on the wheel, and I'm going to hold the same angle that I was holding over here. Passes, and that should be honed, and it'll even do a mirror polish, and you can do it in one step. I still check with the hair on my arm what little hair I've got at the moment on it, and let's get a piece of paper and we'll see how it cuts. I could probably hone it a little bit longer. No, I guess it doesn't need it. So, and that's just two-step process. That's one belt at 200 grit. That could even do some of the harder work. So 200 grit, green compound on a piece of cardboard, one machine, $65. And you're cutting like a champ. Could do this all day long. And that's a nice edge. I mean, that'll shave hair. That'll do everything you want it to do. Hopefully you can see just how smooth that is. That only took a few seconds. The edge is not toothy. What you end up with this, because it's running at such a high speed, is you end up just knocking the burr off. You knock any of the scratch pattern, the grit lines that come off of this. Everything comes off. What you're left with is a mirror polished smooth edge without actually having to do all the steps that I usually do. You don't have the control. You have to learn to hold the same angle, and then you can either pick a spot further down the wheel and hold it flat, but I tend to prefer to go straight up and down on the vertical and then hold the same angle that I was holding here. This, even though it's cardboard and it's squishy side to side, you'd be surprised. It's actually quite firm on the end grain, but it's still soft enough and it holds some of the rubbing compound in it. Whatever compound it is you use, green, white, red. That's where you can kind of play around with and have some fun with it. Not the most ideal setup because of how close the two things are to each other. But I'm doing the best I can. You know, I wanted to check out the machine and see what I could do with it. And I'm doing this on the fly. It's not like I prep this out and then check and see if it's going to work and then test it and then rebuild it and redo a video. This is what I got with this machine that I got for $65. I was able to very quickly just attach a cardboard wheel to the side of it and make a sharpening and a honing station out of one machine. That's day one with this new machine. I've got another one sitting in a box ready to go. Just a quick shout out of thanks to everybody for their support and encouragement and advice. Please leave any comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear more about what you guys would like to see me do, what I can do better. I think the video quality is coming up. Editing I still need to work on quite a bit. Sound quality is probably another area that, you know, I'm lacking in, but we're still trying to work on that. Other than that, I just keep on trying to get better and try to make videos and be able to make them better and easier for myself as well. Hope you guys found this useful. This little machine seems like a nice little machine for, again, for what it is. It's got more functionality than the Harbor Freight 1x30 does, the stock one. Next up I have a Rikon 161 VS, which is variable speed. And so basically it's this same machine with an extra variable speed knob on it. Pretty excited. Let's see what we can do with that, and I'll get on that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Aloha.